All right. Out of those that just raised your hand, you can hold your applause. God. No, just kidding. Out of those who raise your hands, have you ever been a veteran where you're trying to find out an answer about something to do with VA benefits, VA healthcare, or whatever else, and you have to make 10 to 15 calls to get the right information because you got to swim and dig and climb and crawl through the muck of misinformation to get to a good resource? Let me see those hands. All right, I think those are almost all the same hands. It was no different for me getting out of the Marine Corps in 2009. I had 3 combat tours. I was the first vehicle in Iraq, second vehicle to Baghdad for the Marine Corps. Lost over 80% of our company, came back. I had a lot of issues. I was struggling heavily with PTSD. I needed to figure out what I'm going to do with my life because I no longer had Uncle Sam to take care of me. I had to figure out marriage issues, being a parent, and I just had a baby. Like I extended my time in the Marine Corps to have a kid. I know it's usually not the male that does that, but either way, I needed the benefits. So I needed to figure that out. I needed to figure out healthcare. I had to figure out how to support the whole system. Am I going to go to school? How do I sign up for the GI Bill? I had all these problems. It's not just one piece of the pie and one problem I had to solve, right? It was a ton of them. And for each one of those problems, I had to make a ton of phone calls to figure out the answer. And you know what I had to do anytime I need to solve another problem? I have to start over and figure it out, do some Google searching. There wasn't AI back when I was doing that. It was just Google, barely. And I had to figure a lot of this out on my own. Another question, and you guys can shout out the answer or whatever else. How many veterans would you say, percentage-wise, have signed up for VA healthcare, do you think? Percentage-wise, anybody?
Signed up?
Yeah, signed up for VA healthcare. 25? What else we got? 40. 5?
30%.
Pessimist. See, now I know who the optimists and the pessimists are. It's actually 52%, which actually shocks a lot of people. Here's the thing, though. 67% of veterans are not using their VA healthcare. All right? That's 2/3 of veterans not accessing things that could very much help them out. Why is that? Because it's very intimidating. There's more misinformation than information. Again, going through each one of those to-dos or things I needed to solve for my life, it was so much work. And I was, at times I would just give up. And I see now why veterans do not access these things. And then you talk about VA claims. VA claims, only 6.4 million veterans out of 18 million veterans in the United States have any service connection, including 0%. Out of those 6.4 million, I guarantee you, many of them, probably at least 2/3 of those, could go for an increase to their percentage. Now, me, I got out in 2009, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna check my, I'm gonna keep this timer up because I don't want to get into too much. But when I got out in 2009, I was told to go to a VSO. And I will tell you, this guy should have retired 80 years before I met this man. Crusty dude, had no idea, he asked me 0 questions. He put down the wrong leg on the claim, he completely messed it up. And this is a guy I was told by another veteran to go to. And so I became a VSO because of him. I was VSO for 4 years, then I worked for the VA for over 12 years. I covered the entire state of Washington. I worked for the hospital side, I worked for the VBA side. I've been doing this now for 17 years, and I will tell you, your training, even as a VSO, not that great. I didn't know anything. I thought I knew everything until I went and worked for the VBA and regional office. Then I'm like, oh, I went there thinking I'm a Marine, I'm going to kick in the door and change the system. It didn't work that way. And actually, I will tell you, the hospital has a long ways to go, but it was the most well-oiled machine I've ever worked for in the claims system. And veterans don't know that. Veterans don't realize the VA is actually there to help. They're your best advocate. Problem is, veterans think that they're the enemy, so they don't listen to them, or they think it's too intimidating, and they think it's this big thing. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to fill out a VA claim. Now, my big initiatives, my big passions is to solve this. Because in 17 years I've been doing this. I've started 3 nonprofits for veterans. I run a for-profit company training companies like the training that you had there. I train companies to better connect with the VA, better get more veteran clients, and better serve them, because the VA, you call the VA, they're not going to tell you all the programs. No. There's 13 programs for in-home care, for instance. 13 programs for in-home care, 8 programs for residential care. You call the VA, you might hear about 2 or 3. Right? And that department doesn't know and talk to this department, and you get this isolated problem. So my passion is that there will be less wrong doors. Where the veteran doesn't walk into an office, somebody who says, we serve veterans, we help veterans. And they walk in there like, hey, you help me, because this is what happened with me. I walked into a lot of those doors, and I didn't get the help I was looking for. But I want there to be less wrong doors where a veteran can walk into, whether they go in for in-home care, they go in for housing, they go in for mental health assistance, whatever they're going in for, they get answers for everything they need. So there will be no more wrong door where they either get no information or misinformation. So I do a training program with companies. If your company wants to learn better how to serve veterans, how to work with the VA, contract with the VA, or anything like that, I do training programs. We're also developing a VA benefits navigation app, which will put my 17 years of experience into a easy step-by-step questionnaire, which will go through the whole piece of the pie, or the whole pie, not just a piece of the pie of that veteran. Because the veteran might come in for mental health, but they also have financial problems, homeless problems, this problem, that problem, and each one of those needs a solution. We got to get out of this mindset of, oh, well, I'm just going to handle our piece of the pie. Because if you at least know a little bit, you don't have to do all the work yourself. The resources are out there. That's the cool thing. You can, just understanding what's available will do so much towards that no wrong door mission. So I've got a thing coming up on the 28th where if you want to know more, I only have limited time here. If you want to know more about opportunities with your company and what your company can help with in this mission, solving this mission, I have on the 28th a Zoom workshop. I don't have flyers for it today, but I have my cards over here.
Can I
yes.
interject there? Can you go on the VECA Facebook page where all your pictures will be at, by the way. So go check out Veterans East County Alliance Facebook page, and you can post the information so that you can find out about what Nathan's talking about.
I'll put my flyer on there. It's going to be a Zoom, so accessible to anybody, where I'm going to talk about all the different opportunities, because these aren't just opportunities for the veterans, also opportunities for you. There's federal money on the table that you can access if you understand what those opportunities are. So I would love to talk to you guys about these things. I don't want to take up too much more time. That is, I think, all my announcements and information. Oh, let me just give you a couple examples real quick before I hop off. I think I said that. Yeah, I got a few more minutes. So, a couple examples of how this works. So if I'm a veteran and I start from ground zero, there are 4, let's say I need housing, I'm homeless, I'm stuck, and I have nothing, and I also am an older veteran who hasn't signed up for VA healthcare. Let's say I have all the problems in the world. The VA has programs for everything. You need a job? There's programs, both through the VA and the community. You need housing. They have 4 housing programs. You need in-home care. They got 13 of them. You need mental health care. They've got multiple levels depending on what your needs are. If the VA doesn't have it, they'll pay for it. And there's programs, service-connected claims. For a single veteran, it's $3,900 a month. That's how much it goes up to 100%. But a lot of veterans don't even know that that's not the top. 100% is not the most you can get. It goes all the way up to $11,271 depending on what your needs are. And so understanding some of these opportunities that are available to the veterans not only help the veterans, but it allows them to pay for more of your services, to be able to add not just your services, but connect with others. And the VA pays for a lot of this stuff. So there's a lot of programs out there. Those are just some of them. The housing, the mental health, the aging services, all of that. Financial services, VA home loans. I mean, tons of information on that. Veterans are actually using those for investments and things like that. You have to live in it in the beginning, but they are using it in very strategic ways, and it's changing veterans' lives. But the whole crux, everything I'm talking about relies on one thing: you educating yourself. That's all. You educate yourself, and it's our training's 3 hours a day for 3 days. And then you will know enough information to be able to answer questions about any of those topics or subjects. And we'll help you map out your VA and resources, where to get your referral networks and everything else on top of all of it. That's all I got. Show up on the Zoom. Yes, you have a question?
I just have a question. How do you reach those in the streets and those that don't have computers?
What was the question?
The question was, how do you reach those in the street or those who don't have computers? Great question. I have in-person workshops as well, and it's also the networking. So it's contacting places like Join and PATH and BVSD and all the homeless organizations that are here. There's an East County GPD program as well. So depending on where you are, I'll tell you about a ton of resources in your area. Happy to do that, and that's how I connect with them. Any other questions before I hop off?
No.
All right, we're good.
Thank you, Nick.